Hi, I'm Jeremy. Welcome to our farm, Cornucopia Orchards. It's been quite a while since I've really done any video. Little over 2 weeks, 3 weeks now since I've shot any video. And it's now been about a month and a half since I've posted anything. And there's a reason for that. First, logs, almost all done. Family members all have all they need, so the rest is going to be just for sale to general public. And we have some new life on the farm here, at least for a little while. This is Pixie. She is a 12-year-old Dexter. And that over there is Spooky. He's 6 months old. And they are new additions to our farm only for a couple weeks, and then they're going to my dad's place. And that's where Dusk, our little bull, is also living, at least through the winter. More than likely we'll be doing a shared herd, and for now we don't have anywhere for them to be, especially during the winter time, and only about a half an acre of forage for them to eat, which they've been quite happy on for a week and a half now. And we are giving them a little bit of hay just to supplement, and all of the processing that we're coming out of our kitchen right now, so apples and that sort of thing, is also going to them, which they enjoy. Pixie was initially a tough nut to crack, just from the standpoint of not, being too friendly. Spooky is still a lot harder, but we've gotten Pixie to where she seems to be quite happy with us. Sorry, Spooky. With Pixie, we didn't really know what, they had done. We didn't talk a whole lot with the people who we bought her from. So we didn't know, how they called for her, if they had used any particular feed. And I did find that initially, like maple leaves, she wasn't aware of those, although she did like them quite a bit once I introduced her. But what she did know quite well was lawn clippings. She knew what a mower was. So that's how I managed to start getting her to be more comfortable with us. So this being all that there is left, we ended up with about, I want to say, 7 cords that came out of those logs. So in total, it's probably about 8 out of everything. This is kind of what I have left. Once this is done and out of the way, then this, we'll be able to access into here again, which is going to be good. Got to get our trailer, which is up here, down into this space in a couple weeks to be able to load these animals over to my dad's. Chickens have been out free ranging this fall, the first time. Hi, girls. Other things that have happened. We sold the flatbed trailer. I finished repairing and restoring that one, and got more than I thought I was going to get out of it. We ended up putting in about $650 into it and sold it for $11.50. So that felt good. And we have this guy all repaired and looking really nice, all finished out. Ended up, putting on some extra stuff, so it has this basically like a channel capping it, which I think will help make the wood last longer. And I found it had been 2 pieces down the bottom, so now it's 1. So yeah, it's looking really nice. I just have a little work around this part. Everything else is, electrically is sheathed like that. Here's a new project that I just acquired the other day for $200, which I thought was a great deal. I needed to supply my own pin to hold that in. He didn't have one. And the PTO shaft is missing the other side. So I have to get that. But once I've got that squared away, I think I can get this thing going again. There does appear to be a little case leak in the center there, but a few small welds. This is a much heavier metal than the other one, so I'll end up selling that instead. So this is a Massey Ferguson, and I know that because it's still got its tag on it, which is nice. Serial number and everything. So let me show you, and then you guys can tell me what year it's made in. I think it's in the 70s, but I'm not 100%. One of the things they do require for final is that you have a safe entry and exit to all of your doors into and out of your house. So here is a project we just finished the other day. So we now have a standard size step down onto this pad, and that will enable us to get into the top half of our house safely and, you know, out onto the road here. And that's all that's required. Eventually we are going to take this side over here and we're going to run out underneath the overhang here. There'll be a step down and then we'll have like a pad and then there'll be a walkway that's going to run up. Let's head into the house here and I'll show you what progress has been made in the past little bit here. Mostly it's been outside, but let's take a look. So Casey's been working in here in the kitchen on the knobs, and we've kind of had to move some stuff down here and got things set up so that the boys have a really nice place for us to be, making it feel homey already, and right down to the crumbs there on the floor underneath the table. And haven't really gotten a whole lot more progress in here other than that done. Water heater wise, it's all ready to go. Other than that, there's a story, but I have to put in a floor drain. I'll tell you about that when we get to it. Bathrooms are functioning, and actually so is the kitchen sink, all good to go drainage wise and everything. And we've kind of done a lot of little detail stuff like that. We've been here in the mechanical and this project that I've been dreading because it's just so tight. Finally gotten some movement here. We have the return partway hooked up, and getting this super complex, just packed space like all fixed in is going to feel really good. So I won't take much video of that just because it's pretty hard to get in there and take any video at all. But I will show you, you know, what it looks like when we're done. We have our doors here ready for us to stain. It's not all of them. It's like the critical ones, bedrooms and bathrooms. And then out here on the porch, Casey and I have been hard at work out here. We've been starting to put on our safety guardrails and have to order a few more. This is all secured in, and this is almost done all the way down, which is a nice feeling to have this figured out and have this safe. It's very close now. Right now what I'm working on this morning is I'm going to be installing this handrail. I already had it on, but I need to be able to turn it in here at the end into this post and down there at the bottom. And you can see down here what we've got, just a standard 45 is what I decided on. I thought about taking the angle and making it like a special cut, but it's going to sit on here just like that, and then I'll sand it down once it's installed. Gotta get just the right angle on this thing. There we go. So yeah, they're going to look pretty nice, and they'll certainly be functional. So I did have to make the decision of where the handrail was going to go, left side or right side. And most people are right-handed, and pretty much everybody except for one of my boys in my family is right-handed. And it's harder to get upstairs than down, usually in a good way. But so, you know, we're definitely keeping the handrail on the right side to support you as you're coming up the stairs. And that also, I think, made it a little easier to figure this center part right here and just not have the handrail wrapping around in such a tight space. You know, it's going to be an interesting to have that be continuous, which it would have to be into that post. While we're here, also got the inside at least all sealed up here, and that's a good thing. We're going to get the soffit and the last little bit of gutters done in a little while. We're going to get the machine out here probably, and then we'll use that also to get rid of these two dead trees. If I limb them down a little bit, it's going to be a lot easier to drop them where they need to be. So obviously, you know, that long story short is we did not make, even as hard as we tried, we did not make completion for our certificate of occupancy ahead of the inspection time frame that they had for us. However, we were able to get one more extension, and so now we have until I think it's March. We're hoping to be able to have it all done before Thanksgiving. Had a big stretch of summertime overtime for Casey, and that really set us back. And you know, it's fine. It just certainly helpful to have the extra money, but it did mean that, you know, there's a lot of stuff I just can't do. And some of this stuff right now, it's really almost dependent on Casey being able to come in and help because I'm just such a big guy. You might think that I need to finish the flooring to have the certificate. I don't. And that's just one of those things where their theory is that this can be a finished floor. if I just epoxy it. And so they are not looking at that. I will need on these larger step ups, so it's not a tripping hazard, not on this because it's within the height variation they allow, but on this I need to put just a little transition to bring it down to this level. And then, you know, if I do that there and there, then we can get our certificate and get them out of our hair even without the flooring done. I don't need to do this work. That's not required. I do need to get that room finished, the mechanical finished. I don't need doors everywhere. They did want me to do doors, bathrooms and bedrooms, so we will have those in. This room needs the drywall finished, and then we'll get it painted before we call. Same with the mechanical, that all needs to be done and working. And while we've made progress, that's still the single largest thing that's left, is getting that system up and running. Realistically, other than that, making sure that that's finished out for safety reasons is kind of the biggest thing that we have that needs done. And then the drainage. I need to redo the drainage on the water heater. They had told me that my understanding was correct. I had specifically called and talked to the county, and the guy I got said, yeah, it looks like you've got yourself squared away. And we talked through exactly how I was supplying a drain for this water heater into the pan, and then oversized relative to the, you know, the 3/4 that comes out of the temperature pressure relief valve. And I guess that section of code, that it looked to me like it was adopted by Oregon, but they chose not to adopt that. And so when I called back later to be like, hey, can I also put the condensate into the pan because we switched to a heat pump water heater, they were like, no, you cannot. And so I need to drain through the floor, add a drain, and then I will be okay. So we've got to get that done. We just decided the upstairs closet that we're just not going to install that water heater at this time. We may choose to install it later. If we do, they do say that you need a permit, and so we'll see. That's just, you know, one of those things where the state of Oregon feels that even though it's just an appliance, it's a dangerous appliance. And it would be if you weren't strapping it and doing all the other things, but we'll see. It saves me some money right now, and Oregon's going through some rules changes around what water heaters are allowed, and it's jacking up the prices of your standard electrical, and so it doesn't make sense for us to do it right now anyway. Intention is still to go back and get all the video that I shot edited up for you and put out on the channel as videos. And this is kind of jumping ahead a little bit, but happened during the break period where I had not only stopped doing any editing, I'd also stopped filming. And I decided as I started back up again that I kind of wanted to explain, you know, what had happened. So we'll go forward from here and catch us back up to the present day, and it's going to take me a little while because we are still working really hard every week to try and get this done as fast as we can, hopefully ahead of the holidays, and hopefully such that we don't have to keep worrying about this into next year and get the sign off done. And that's really the goal. Stair rails are pretty easy. There's obviously code that dictates where you put the stair rail vertically, and it's essentially just a range of heights that are allowed from the nosing of each stair step upwards. And that also, of course, is going to determine your slope for the rail. And it's not the same thing as a guardrail unless you're using a guardrail to serve as the stair rail as well, which you can do, and there are rules for that. I'd like to take a quick second to thank you to everybody who's watching this and everybody who's stayed subscribed, even with a large gap in content like we had, and everybody who's been encouraging us as we go along. It does mean a lot, and as we get closer to finishing the house, the channel is going to be evolving, and I'm excited to show everybody that. How we start transitioning to, you know, more of a farm, and how we get the farm up and running and hopefully make it into a self-sustaining enterprise over the next couple of years. Thanks for watching. I hope you have a great rest of your day. We'll see you next time.